Today I'm making a Radial design tissue paper relief. So before I get started, I want to make sure that my texture plate here is flipped to the right side that I'm going to be working on. So one side's more pushed in and then one side's more popped out. So you want to make sure you're on the more pushed in side. So just feel it so that you know which is the right side to work on, the more pushed in side. And I'm going to be working from the middle outwards, because a radial design is a design that starts in the middle and then radiates around outwards. So I'm going to take some liquid glue here, it's just glue and water, and I'm going to spread some in the middle of my texture plate. And then I'm going to choose a color of tissue paper, and because that's such a small space, I'm going to rip the tissue paper so that it fits. I'm going to stick it in there. And then I'm going to add a little bit more watered down glue on top. And I'm just gonna kind of dab or tap dance my brush on top of it so that I don't end up wrinkling it or moving it around too much. So then I'm just spreading more of this liquid glue onto my texture plate, onto the next part where I want to lay down some tissue paper. Again, I'm kind of crumbling up and ripping the tissue paper to fit it into the spots where I want it. I'm choosing a color scheme. That means that I'm planning out my colors as I lay them down. And then once these are all in here, I'm going to take some more liquid glue and I'm just going to dab or tap dance my brush right on top. All right, so then from then on, I'm just gonna keep laying down glue. I'm gonna keep placing tissue paper pieces where I want them in a color scheme. And then I'm gonna take more glue and tap dance it on top. So glue, then tissue paper, then more glue. Notice how I'm doing even more pieces of tissue paper on top of the ones I already put down. The more layers you do, the more your tissue paper relief is going to come out stronger and sturdier. We really don't want it to break when it pops out of the mold. So the more layers you do, the better. Just make sure you're doing colors that mix together well, or even the same colors on top of each other. When I'm all done and I have a lot of layers piled on top of each other, I'm going to let this dry overnight.